Good morning. So I hope that you guys enjoyed a beautiful week, summer solstice, celebrating this divine, gorgeous, longest Sunday of the year, which is all about consciousness, right? So I was contemplating the theme of the month, which of course is joy. And I began to contemplate, meditate, and thinking on what it means to be joyful, what it means to embody joy. And I stumbled upon the quote by Ernest Holmes, that guy, from Discover a Richer Life. And the quote says, "Life is not to be endured. It is to be lived in joy, in a fullness without limit." And God knows I've spent many years of my life enduring it instead of living a joyful life. And so, of course, this brings me back to the month. And I looked at the month and I thought about the oral panels, and I'm sure you guys have heard way too many stories about the ministerial oral panels. You're like, get over it. It's the past. Move on. No. But there was a great distinction for me up there because we went up. The first day was lovely. The panelists gave an incredible workshop, basically telling us why to not become a minister. And then all the ministerial students gave great talks that night in this gorgeous cathedral, and it was beautiful. Everyone did a great job. The second day we went into panels, our individual oral panels, and I went in and I, said all the correct things. And at the end of the oral panels, they looked at me and they said, "We think that you need to get more vulnerable." And I went, gulp. And they said, "What makes you laugh and cry?" I said, "Fart jokes and tears of joy." So they left me with that. They kind of looked at each other and went, "Thank you, and we'll let you know tomorrow." So the next 24 hours was very interesting for me because what happened was it brought up every possible thing in my consciousness. And talk about feeling vulnerable. I felt like I was naked and raw for 24 hours. And I had to do something in that 24 hours. I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision that whether I had the title of reverend or not, that I had to know and remember that what I'm up to in my life and who I am is the same regardless of what my title is. And then I also had to make a different decision, another decision, and that was knowing that these three minds on the panel were very advanced consciousness. And they want what's right for me, what's good for me. They want me to evolve. They don't want me to fail. So I had to make the decision knowing that the universe has my back. And that if I am to be exposed to what I need to step into, what needs to be expanded in my consciousness, and what I need to step into, which is being more vulnerable, then so it is. So whether they decide for me tomorrow to become a minister or not, I'm committed to that. I'm committed to opening my heart and living from a vulnerable space. And so lo and behold, the next day, they told me I had passed and was a minister now, officially the title. But knowing that this is a very important distinction for us if we're going to live in joy. If we're going to live in joy, I have to always be living knowing that the breakdown, the suffering, the enduring is the opportunity. Because right now is a trying time. Let's face it, we get on social media. There's incredible insanity around politics. We have fear around the economics of the euro. Whether we're dealing with health issues, relationship issues, no matter what it is, we must use our mind to know and step into the joy. And so I'm so clear that no matter what, I stand here naked and raw. I stand here naked, vulnerable, and knowing that I am going to know the truth wholeheartedly, and I accept all things that look like suffering and enduring is the opportunity to step into my greatness. And so on that note, I invite everyone to take out your affirmation card, and I'm going to read it once, and then we can read it together twice. Does everyone have it out? I step into the joy of life and I live it up together. I step into the joy of life and I live it up. Again, I step into the joy of life and I live it up. And so on that note, knowing joy, knowing and in total gratitude of this community, of the opportunity for all of us to step into our greatness, knowing our call to action, knowing that joy is our birthright, that this is our natural state of finding that divine discontentment and moving through it into what our heart desires, into what spirit desires. And so I exhale as we breathe, knowing it is done in the mind, knowing it is done in the heart, and knowing it is done in this community that goes out into the world wholeheartedly with this teaching, with the practice as we live and embody it. And so I simply release. It's heard in my subconscious mind, it's heard in the subjective mind, it's heard by the great law, which is all love. And so release, as together we say, and so it is. Namaste.
You're not sick. You're letting yourself be sick. Who are you? For God's sake. There you have it. I was like, now stop being sick. And I was like, I'm done. I can't be sick. I don't have time to be sick.